First, number one, I can call it a dream buster or a destiny buster, or whatever you want to use it. It's fear. The fear to step out.
Fear to step out.
The fear to step out. Fear is a dangerous thing. Oh, anybody who is going to attain purpose must have courage. Courage to step out in spite of the odds that are facing you. Fear. Fear that you'll not succeed. Fear of people. And fear of the devil. You have to have the backbone to face those fears. And remember, one thing I've always said is that if God has believed in me, who am I not to believe in myself?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see you here this Friday evening. As usual, when it's Friday evening, it's Coffee with BDM. We have missed you. I hope you've been, you watched our repeat that we did last week, and many, well, going by the comments and the viewership, it's a topic that really needs to be discussed over and over again. But while we're here, back with Bishop David Moridi on the show that is none other than Coffee with BDM. Bishop David, thank you very much for being here again.
Such a joy.
People love the show. People look forward to the show. And today, ladies and gentlemen, is a topic that many people are caught in between. Many people ask, am I living my purpose? Am I in my place? How do I achieve destiny? How do I know my destiny? Well, it's destiny and purpose. Well, be like a beggar, telling the other beggar where the bread is. Share this on your wall, start a watch party. Somebody's blessing is waiting for that person on your wall. So the only way they can get that blessing is by you sharing this on your wall. This is Coffee with BDM. Thank you very much, Bishop. Destiny, purpose, they are twins. Many people ask, and I've seen in many public forums and on Facebook, how do I know my purpose? And even before you say that, what is purpose?
Well, thank you so much for asking me that question. I think they're not just twins, I think they're triplets.
Yes.
There's destiny, there's purpose, and you cannot delink it with serving. Because Jesus Christ said that he did not come to be served, he came to serve. Showing us very clearly that the master himself, his purpose was intertwined with serving. Any great person in this world, look at them and you can start mentioning them, whether it's Martin Luther King Jr., whether it's Mandela, whether it's Mother Teresa. Anybody, whether it's a politician that you know of, Jomo Kenyatta, and all the rest, Kwame Nkrumah,
Yes.
Julius Nyerere.
Yes.
All of them, you can see that their purpose and destiny was intertwined with serving.
Yes.
Now, purpose is when a man discovers why they were created by God. For you have to understand that God has got the blueprint for your life. You don't have the blueprint. It's God who, you see, God is like the architect. God is the one who draws you. He draws you like the way an architect would draw a building and stuff.
Yes.
And then he fills in the things that are supposed to be there and the functions of that building and stuff. And that's how God works, equally, just like an architect. In architecture, they normally tell us that form determines function. You see, the form of a structure, the way the structure, you go to an architect to tell the architect, I want a toilet, for instance. If you tell him you want a toilet, he will design a toilet with the functions of a toilet. All right? Where to change, where to wash your hands and stuff, and on and on and on. Where the urinals are going to be, and all those details that are supposed to be there. If you go to the same architect and tell them, I want a church building, he'll ask you how many people do you want to sit in that building. 10,000, 5,000, 100, 550. So in keeping with the functions of the building, then God will the architect rather, will design the building. Equally God.
Yes.
When he created you, God created RB very different from the rest. RB is not, there's no other RB in the world ever, and there will never be. People never normally say, you're 1 in a million. You're not 1 in a million. You're 1 in 7 billion. There will never be. There will never be anybody like you ever.
Yes.
That's why your pupils are different, your fingerprints are different and everything. They're features that no one else will ever be. So then, that alone determines your destiny and your purpose. That alone determines your destiny and purpose.
Right.
I was teaching in Sunday here, and I was telling them that, there are gifts that God gives an individual. And the Bible says that everybody has God gifts.
Yes.
Now, the worst thing that can happen to an individual is for them to live life and never discover the gifts that they had, because your gift will determine your purpose and will determine your destiny. What are the gifts that RB has? What are the gifts that he operates with ease, without struggle? There are some things that you do, without difficulty. You can wake up at midnight and do them like you were preparing for a year.
Yes.
And the things that you do, somebody else cannot be able to do them. It's difficult, but they can be able to do something else that you are not able to do.
Absolutely.
So I believe with all my heart that when it comes to purpose, when it comes to destiny, you have to understand, and the sooner you get to know your gifts, the sooner you begin to live.
Okay.
Living begins by discovering the gifts that you have. You have gifts that make you. You have gifts that, oh my God, let me tell you. And the thing about this thing called gifts is so serious. Unfortunately, most people don't live life and they die without realizing what God bestowed upon them. That is the worst thing that can happen. Because you see, when you discover gifts, when you discover the gifts that God has given you, for instance, me, I know my gift. My gift is preaching and teaching.
Yes.
Everything about me is about preaching and gift. My voice is about preaching and gift. I've got a strong voice. I've never lost my voice, ever, for the number of years that I've been preaching. Even when I have a flu, you would not know. Why? Because God made me. The blueprint that I found that God had for me is that I am a preacher teacher. And I cannot take this voice and take all the intelligence that God has given me for speaking and passing on knowledge to be an accountant. I'm not an accountant. An accountant doesn't even need a strong voice. He just needs to know mathematics and know the
Credit
basic.
and debit.
Yeah. That's what they need to know. But for me, everything about me, the way I think, the way I process, is just about preaching and teaching. I can speak about literally every subject, just without struggle.
Yes.
And it's a gift that God has given me. So that gift that God has given that person, the sooner they discover it, I would be one of the most miserable people, I think, if I lived life and then come to discover when I'm 60, 70 years that God called me to be a preacher.
Yes. So, Bishop, you were lucky enough to discover your gifts. Somebody is watching us right now and they're wondering, so I have this gift, but I'm not using the gift. But I'm somewhere that I'm comfortable in life. Is that person living away from their line of destiny and line of purpose? How then do you know, well, vis-a-vis your gifting, that you're in the right place? Does purpose mean that you're earning a lot of money in doing what you're doing? Is that purpose? Does purpose mean doing that thing that you can even do for free?
Well, I said that, first of all, it begins with God.
Yes.
God being the architect. But then you have to now find the mind of God concerning you.
Right.
All right? And you find the mind of God concerning you because of how He has wired you to be. God has gifted you, God has wired you in a particular way like no other person in the whole universe. All right? You talked about being comfortable.
Yes.
I think, all right, comfort is the enemy of progress.
Comfort is the enemy of progress.
Comfort is the enemy of progress. And the problem, and this is what has actually killed even third world countries,
Yes.
we get so comfortable with so little. So little.
Yes.
I'm a good reader. I read quite a bit, and I read even the differences between our CEOs and the CEOs in the first world. CEOs in the first world will just leave a job after 2 years, 3 years, and they're getting the best salary packs that anybody can imagine, but they move on to another thing because they're not comfortable. Never get comfortable, because God has got more. God always has more. We speak and preach about it in the scriptures, how we say that God moves us from glory to glory, from power to power, from strength to strength, from better to best.
Yes.
You understand me? So we get so comfortable with so little. And the moment you get so comfortable, then you kill yourself. I had a discussion with one of the leaders who is very strong in leadership classes and stuff. And so I told him, I asked him, what is it that one can do to avoid a plateau in their lives?
Yeah.
Because plateaus come because of people being comfortable.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the answer he gave me, which I think is quite applicable, is you have to keep on improving little by little. Little by little.
Yeah.
You have to keep on improving little by little.
Yes.
And that's what I would tell any viewer who's watching us, this wherever they're watching us from, that to avoid plateaus, you have to keep on improving little
by little.
by little. It may not be a big thing you're doing, but please make sure you're improving yourself little by little. If it's your company, improve it little by little. That way, you will never hit a plateau. An old man had told me some time ago, keep on moving the goalposts. Some time ago. Keep on moving the goalposts so you can avoid the dangers that come as a result of being comfortable. How would you be comfortable in life? There's still too much that has not been achieved.
Yes.
I mean, even Paul, the apostle himself, said that after writing 2/3 of the New Testament, he says, man, I press on toward the goal, upward calling,
Yes.
and the goal that Christ has apprehended me for. So you keep on pressing.
As you grow.
Yeah. And the pressing he's talking about there is the pressing of using an iron. He's talking like an iron. That's the Greek word that he was using. It's an iron he has gotten, and those irons, it's not like today. Irons are electric. They're very fast.
Yes.
Those were irons that you really had to press for the dress or for the shirt or for the suit to be straightened.
Right.
You had to press it.
Yes.
It's not like, today, our irons are, everything is so quickly steam, everything. Those were real irons which you had to really press. And that's the terminology that Paul was using, that you have to keep on pressing. Keep on pressing.
This is a kind of teaching, Bishop, that people, I believe, have rushed and picked their notebooks and their pens. So somebody has been living a life and maybe you're just illuminating their eyes to, my goodness, I have not even been using my gifts to serve God or to live out my purpose. Now, somebody who is taking notes, what are the things they should look at? Over and above, you're a gifted speaker. What are other things? Personality, environment, do all those things play into discovering who you are called to be?
I think after you've discovered, thanks so much for the question.
Yes.
I think after you have discovered your gifts that God has given you,
Yes.
okay? The second thing you want to check out, which is so crucial
Yes.
to anybody who's going to achieve purpose and destiny, is heart.
Heart.
Your heart. Your heart. I'm going to be teaching about heart this coming Sunday. What are the things that tickle your heart? Arbi. What are the things that when you hear them, your heart misses a beat because of the excitement about it? For instance, an example. There are people who are excited with football.
Yes.
Very much. Others, you tell them about football,
I don't care.
they don't care about it. All right? But you tell them about basketball, their heart misses a beat.
Yes.
All right? So you have to understand what is it that my heart loves? What is it that my heart would do in a second, whether I'm paid or not paid? My heart loves it so much. You have to understand that. Otherwise, if you don't do something that your heart loves, it's going to be a drudge.
Right.
It's going to be laborious. It's going to be a pain to do something that your heart, and you will not even be able to do it properly. I am so sure. For instance, somebody like Messi. I'm so sure even if Messi was not paid, he would still play football.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, it's in him. He loves it. He loves it. Somebody like Ronaldo, man. These guys, I mean, even if you don't pay them. I told the story in the church. Here, right here at House of Grace. How when God called me. I know I told God, even if I'm not paid, I'll preach. And I went for 2.5 years, going to 3, without a salary.
But you kept on preaching.
I kept on preaching. Because I didn't come for money. I came because this is my purpose. I came because this is my heart. I came because I love doing what I'm doing. I love it. I can do this any day. I'm excited about it. So you have to know what is it that your heart really loves? What is it that your heart really loves? If you get that, then you're halfway to purpose and destiny.
Well, I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but for me, as Bishop is speaking, I'm now putting some ticks and crossing some places, and I'm really thinking about my own life, some of the things that I love doing, and am I using them to my full potential? And what is this that you love doing? What is this that makes your heart miss a bit, that tickles you, that excites you, that, well, being paid is not bad to do it, but even if you are not being paid, you would do it. And for those of you who have just joined, you're talking about destiny and purpose. And God is at the center of that because he has the blueprint of why we are here. So anybody trying to create their own blueprint, you need to go back to the drawing board, tear that script, and know it starts with God. Bishop has told us, he told God that even if I don't get paid, I will still preach. So what is that thing that you can do, a positive thing that you can do, and even say without any payment that you will not stop doing it? Bishop, what are some of the things, and allow me to bounce it off from your own life, because of course I'm privy to some of the things you tell us while you're preaching. When you now operate in your place of purpose, what are the negative effects? For lack of a better word, I use the word negative, because when you now went into the place of purpose, not everybody believed that you're doing the right thing. So many have missed out on purpose. What are some of these things that we should expect, that it's a sign that you're in the place of purpose? Because if you're not careful, we may think that it is by being not in purpose that you're attracting some of these discouraging statements. So what should someone expect?
Well, I think people of purpose and people of destiny have to understand one thing, that onlookers, outsiders, don't even know you in the first place.
Yeah.
They have no clue of who you really are. What God gives you in creation, you have to take that and work it out in purpose and destiny. And when you work out your purpose and destiny, that becomes a gift back to God.
Ooh. What God gives you in creation, you have to work it out in purpose and destiny, and that's your gift back to God.
That's your gift back to God. Now, nobody who is an onlooker initially knows the gifts God has given you. Nobody who's an onlooker initially knows what your heartbeat is. Nobody knows. So it's up to you to work out your purpose. That business of these people talking here or not talking there, that weighs out. For instance, I'm not talking about me like I'm braggadocious or anything, or Bishop Jakes. Let me use Bishop Jakes, for instance. Nobody can tell you that Bishop Jakes is not a preacher.
That's true.
They may have said that before when he was starting.
Yeah.
Maybe when he was a boy starting out, they would have said, oh, they could have complained and everything.
Right.
Now you can complain about everything. The haters can say anything, but you cannot doubt
That is a preacher.
that he's an anointed man of God who is a preacher and a teacher of a class of his own. So initially, when you're starting out, those frogs, that are on the river, which never stop the cow from drinking the water, really,
Yes,
will be there. But eventually, as you continue being consistent with your gift and with your heart, you understand me? Then those things will fall off, and you'll have to deal with other things, not people doubting that God has called you, not people doubting the gifts God has given you, not people doubting your heart. You cannot doubt. Initially, maybe, and I've heard stories of people who are great, even Messi. I mean, when he was starting out, I'm sure there's some people who thought he can't make it as a footballer. Michael Jackson, when he was starting out, and some of these guys, most of them will end up being great. What makes them great is just being consistent in their gifts that God has given them and in their heart. So that's what I'm telling you, that yes, initially it can be there, but you pass that ladder. And when you pass that hurdle, rather, you move on to something else. And you deal with other demons and other devils, which have got nothing to do with petty things that people talk about, a lot of you. And by the way, let me tell you, you have to have a spine. Bishop Jake said that can you stand to be blessed? There's a book he has written to that effect.
Yes, yes.
You know, can you stand to be blessed? And anybody who's going to achieve purpose and destiny has to get that kind of a book and ask themselves, can I stand to be blessed? Why can you stand to be blessed? Because when you're blessed, then you have haters, you have all sorts of things, you have people who, you know, don't like you simply because of your success. People can tolerate you, but few can celebrate you.
Whoa. People can tolerate you. Many people can, but only few can celebrate you.
Yeah.
Can you stand to be blessed? Because once you're in your place of purpose, in your place of destiny, blessings come and haters come. You see, you must have a thick spine. I've now forgotten one thing you told me. Have a soft heart, but a thick skin. Can people stumble into purpose? I'm saying this because if my memory serves me right, Messi, who you've used as an example, was unwell when he was young. And he was taken from Argentina to go to Spain for treatment. Apparently the doctor, the expert was in Argentina, in Spain. And during the time, because he was there for a while, he would go to the park and play football. And that's how they scouted him. And they said, we'll even pay for your the medical fees. Now he's the highest paid footballer in the world. So there are ways in which people get to that line. You had God's voice, you know. What are other things besides discovering? Okay, fine, I've discovered my gift. I know this A, B, C, D is my gift. What do I do with it now?
Yeah, well, let me answer you. I think you're right when you say you can stumble into your gifts. God is a gracious and merciful God.
Yes.
And God sometimes can cause people to stumble into their giftings, into their areas, into their destinies.
Right.
Joseph is a classic example. Joseph stumbled into his destiny. He didn't orchestrate it.
Yes.
He was sold as a slave. They wanted to kill him. The brothers didn't love him.
Right.
And they thought that they were really messing him up. And then he comes and says, listen, what you meant for evil, God meant it for good. So sometimes God can orchestrate things around you and cause you to stumble into your destiny and purpose. I think there's some politicians who have been pushed into politics, not because they liked it, because of seeing the suffering of the people, because of seeing, you know, Mandela was pushed into it so much that he was jailed for 27 years. And his cry was, can South Africa, you know, be free of segregation?
Right.
Can South Africa be liberated, and on and on and on? So there are people who are forced by circumstances to be in a situation where they discover their purpose. But
Yes.
you see, the reason why I teach this is because sometimes that may not happen. And you may waste your life not knowing what to do. So the teachings I teach is so that I can teach you not to waste your time.
Right.
Just in case you don't stumble into your destiny. You can make it happen for you if you know the ABCs of destiny and purpose. If you don't know, it will be the mercy of God, really. And I think not many people end up stumbling into their purpose.
Right.
I don't think so.
Whoa, Bishop, like you said something at the top of the program and said, you're lucky you discovered your gifting and who God has called you to be, and how painful it would have been if you live up to the age of 70 and then discover you're supposed to be a preacher.
Yeah.
But there's somebody watching, 50, 60, or even 30, but they feel they have missed out. So let's, for argument's sake, let's talk about a 60-year-old man or woman who now, from what you have said, is now ticking and understanding, oh, that is why this is my gifting. That is why this excites me. That is why I don't like seeing people hungry. But time has passed me by. Is that a sure statement, or purpose discovered at whatever stage is still a gift back to God?
You see, let me say something. I don't know how to answer this, but I'll try my best to answer it. For a young man who discovers his purpose and destiny, all right, his life is a gift to God. His life. For an old man who discovers his purpose and destiny, his soul is a gift to God.
Can we end the show now? My goodness, Bishop, now what do we say after that? Let me try and repeat it. For a young man to discover his purpose, his life is a gift to God. For an old man to discover his purpose, his soul is a gift to God.
Yeah, you see, the old man has worked, he has served, he's now old, he doesn't have the energies, he has no strength, he has no vitality in him. Then all of a sudden, okay, discover, oh, I was supposed to be serving God in a particular area. Well, first of all, you don't have life. You just have soul that is remaining. Because your life has been gone and your life has been used and utilized in other things which were not really it. I think there's a book I read some time ago, and they said that how would somebody feel if they were backing a tree and became so successful and got to the top of that tree only to discover that they backed the wrong tree.
The wrong tree. Wow. And I'm sure, Bishop, many are in that predicament. Many are there. And through this show, of course, they're now having the boldness to get down the tree and climb up the right tree. Bishop, allow me to ask this question. And one of our greatest friends just rested, Pastor Roche. And you led us to pray for him last Sunday as a church. And may his soul rest in perfect peace. He died not in old age. He died what we would call as human beings the prime of his life. But seeing the tributes, many people saying, and there's a consistency of the tributes. He preached to me when I was in high school. He was very big on high school ministry. Others would say, he's finished his race. Others would still say, he went too soon. There is one time you told us here in church, don't worry, you are here until you get your purpose. What is your take on such a situation?
Well, I knew Roche personally, and
Yes.
I'm deeply saddened with the passing on of Roche because he was such a great guy. Roche was a guy of humor.
Totally.
You could not have been around Roche and be sad at the same time. Then his style of preaching was very unique. He had a way of getting his points across.
Yes.
You know, and a nice person that he was. And coming back to your question, you say about you think he died at the prime of his life. What I personally believe from scriptures, from reading the Bible, I think I'm a firm believer that life at the end of the day is not quantity. Life at the end of the day is the quality that you live in. Jesus Christ lived for 33 years old.
Yes.
Jesus Christ lived for 33 years.
And we're still feeling the power right now.
So it's not actually longevity. It's not the quantity of days you have on this earth that really matter. I think it is the quality of life and the impact that you leave behind. I was looking at the tributes also of what people were saying on Facebook. Facebook yesterday was just ablaze,
Yes.
you know, with Roche. You know, and as you say, people say, oh, he preached me in high school, or he preached me at House of Grace,
Yes.
and on and on and on.
Yes.
And it's not the quantity. And thank God for quantity and longevity. But at the end of the day, if you have quantity and longevity without quality, it's a waste of time.
Bishop, you're dropping some punchlines until I'm forgetting I'm supposed to be hosting. Well, it's not the quantity, but the quality. And as we were speaking today about destiny and purpose, what are you doing with your life? What are you getting fulfilled? That which you're doing, can you do it for free? Now, we've talked about the giftings in line with destiny and purpose. The things that excite you, the things that makes your heart skip a bit, the things that tickle you. So those are exciting things. Can somebody's hatred towards something point them towards destiny and purpose? You don't like seeing hungry people. You don't like seeing orphans being mistreated. Can the hatred or the dislike actually, of something point you towards purpose? Because
yes.
you've talked about the exciting
Oh,
things.
yes. Oh, yes. I think you're basically saying the same thing, but a different way.
Yes.
I would say this way. Okay, you hate children being hungry. I would say I get excited feeding children.
Aha. Yes. Yes.
So we're basically saying the same thing in a
Right.
different way.
Yes.
And yes, when you, for instance, you hate disorder. Okay, you cannot see disorder around. What does that tell you? You're a leader. You step into a situation, you can be in a room or in a gathering or in a party or whatever, and there's too much confusion. People have not eaten, the plates are not there, the
Yes.
spoons are there. And you step into the picture, you organize the plates are there, things, and everything, food is served and everything and everything and everything. And by the end of the day, everybody's fed and everybody's happy. You're a leader. You've got the gift of administration. That's what it tells you. So you cannot miss that. I mean, you can't just sit down and see confusion and see disorder. You step into the picture. You know, it can be in a home setting, it can be a friend's house and anything. And you step and you bring in order and everything is working all of a sudden where there's confusion. And when everybody was complaining about not eating, then soon and very soon,
Everybody's fed.
Yeah. So you are a leader, you have got the gift of administration. You understand me? You come into a church like this and you see, hey, the seats are not organized well, they're dirty, they're dusty. You come with a duster and you clean. You've got the gift of helps. You've got the gift of helps. So this is how you discover where you really belong. Now I need to say something that is very, very poignant here. That your gift, in most cases, will give you a living.
Okay.
It will give you a living even financially.
Yes.
Because you will get paid. People will reward you because of the gifts that you're giving to them in whatever area. So I'm not just talking about church issues here. I'm just talking generally speaking. You know, your gift in the company is maybe just sorting out computer issues. You love computer. You're a computer geek and stuff. You'll get paid for that. You get excited as a computer geek. That is it. You love computers. All right. So you'll get paid the moment you get to know your gift and the moment you begin to put your gift to use.
Right.
If you don't put your gift to use, you will be a beggar.
Yes.
Somebody needs to hear me saying that. It's people who use their gifts that end up being remunerated in keeping with the gift that they have.
Right. Wow. Use your gift. In most cases, your gifts, place of purpose, will earn you a living. Bishop, let's just touch a little bit as we get to the tail end of the show. Let's talk a little bit about destiny killers. And yes, you touched on haters when you, of course, are in your place of purpose, can you stand to be blessed? What are some of the subtle things that, because haters are very outright in, I don't like what you're doing, I don't like you. Or, of course, you also said comfort is also a danger. Are there any other tips you'd give us that we should really look at? Because there's some good things that we like that can actually take us away from destiny.
Oh,
Yeah.
The first, number one, I can call it a dream buster or a destiny buster, or whatever you want to use it, is fear. The fear to step out.
Fear to step out.
The fear to step out. Fear is a dangerous thing. Oh, anybody who is going to attain purpose must have courage. Courage to step out in spite of the odds that are facing you. Fear. Fear that you'll not succeed. Fear of people. And fear of the devil. You have to have the backbone to face those fears.
Yes.
You know, God speaking to Jeremiah says, I will make your face as hard as a stone.
Yeah.
Why? Because people, man, even preaching is not easy, man. I mean, some people come to church and you wonder why they even came to church. Because they come and they look at you and they wonder, oh, Jesus. It's like they came to torment you.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have real faith that works your fear away. So fear. Number two, the thing that actually will really, really cripple you from achieving a purpose and destiny is guilt. Guilt. You have to work on it. you have to overcome it.
Guilt of what?
It can be guilt of your shortcomings.
Yes.
It can be guilt of your past. It can be guilt of what you did yesterday. It can be guilt of anything. Now, people don't know that,
Yes.
but it cripples you like crazy. And so you have to overcome guilt. And remember, one thing I've always said is that if God has believed in me, who am I not to believe in myself?
We're ending the show now. This is like the 7th heavy punchline. If God has believed in me, who am I not to believe in me? And maybe somebody is in the face of guilt. Because I struggled with guilt for a very long time. Bishop, the first time you gave me the opportunity to preach, I almost ran because I was feeling I'm not deserving. I was guilty of my past. Who am I to stand? And I, as you say, I'm glad that I conquered. And also fear for some things. I remember you called me, I was at the junction, and you told me, Arbi, I want you to get rid of that fear. So I know really, because I've lived guilt through guilt and fear. And I want to encourage somebody who is in that phase of guilt. It is true. It impedes your movement. You'll take one step forward and 50 steps back. So conquer. Stop feeling guilty. If God has believed in you, who are you not to believe in yourself? I mean, if we just would go home on that statement, I think by the time you're getting to your houses or going to work, you'll be ready to face destiny. Encourage us, Bishop. We're already on 40 minutes.
Well, I want to congratulate you for taking the challenge I gave you to speak, because I knew that the issue of guilt, the issue of the past and
Yes.
stuff, and I knew that if I did challenge you to break that shell,
Yes.
it will never break.
Yes.
I'm so glad today that you broke that shell,
Thank you,
out of your life. Yes. And you overcame it, because, you see, I want to say something else here.
Yes.
That you only overcome fear by facing fear.
Let's go home. Cameras, please roll. First and foremost, Bishop, I must publicly thank you for holding my hand. Actually, pushing me when it hurt and telling me you can do it. And I'm just glad I did that. I preached from the book of Esther. I remember I sat in that toddler's room and I couldn't even hear myself breathing. I was that tense, I was feeling guilty, and I was hearing those voices telling me, actually, you're not good enough. Until you were caught in traffic. And the time for service was about to commence. And you said, he should not preach until I get there. And that for me was it. Like, okay, if he can believe in me, then who am I not to believe in myself? And God used you in a mighty way and continues in my life. And I hope that you who is watching, you'll also find yourself a Bishop David Moreithi, a man or a woman who will hold you and see beyond your shortcomings or beyond what you're struggling with and push you. Well, this is destiny and purpose. I have a feeling there'll be I'm seeing so many questions, and I have a feeling people will want us to discuss this a little bit more, because without destiny, without purpose, we are simply existing or escorting people. Well, this is Coffee. By the way, on Sunday, this coming Sunday, we humbly ask you to come and join us. You'll be speaking about heart.
Yeah, the heart, as far as purpose and destiny is concerned.
You see, so ladies and gentlemen, we have resumed to 2 services. We start our first service at 9 to 10:30, and then second service at 11 o'clock. So we humbly ask all of you to visit with us. Of course, on the screen right now, you're seeing where we are situated, and come and be with us. Well, this is Coffee with BDM. I have been your host, Robert Broale. Very honored to, of course, be interviewing my spiritual father, Bishop David Moreithi. Thank you very much, Bishop. And see you guys next week. Even after this, you can still start a watch party. There are others who are at work. Some are sleeping. Some missed out. They need to listen to this message. God bless you, and see you next week for another episode of Coffee with BDM.